Welcome back, everyone, once more to the land of Sundered Crowns. The Celestial Bridge, an installation in the lost dwarven outpost of Kars Barazad beneath the Aglanon Peaks. The party has come here because they believe that this is their best chance to commune with the beings known as Ursinals, celestial guardians of knowledge in service to Mistra, goddess of magic and knowledge. Upon their arrival, you briefly made contact with the somewhat eccentric gnomish wizard Warvin Sparkhagel, who controls the observatory far above, and then descended into the heart of Mount Solvitra, where you encountered adherents of the Orcish god Grumsh, led by the cleric Gadenhad, who apparently sought to use the planar abilities of the Celestial Bridge to form enough alliances with lower planes that he would be able to retrieve Grumsh's lost eye, and with the power of this artifact, lead the Orcish people on a new conquest. These ambitions were cut short and soundly thwarted by the arrival of the Lions of the Harashan Coast, who fought their way through the elite of Gadenhad's warband, eventually within the Celestial Bridge, confronting Gadenhad himself as his acolytes tore a hole between the prime material and the lower planes. Through this, demon after demon emerged, but Larium and Wander together stood firm and repelled their assault, whilst Uther and Naira moved about the chamber and one by one cut down the acolytes that were enabling it. Now, as we rejoin the journey, the Lions of the Harashan Coast stand victorious. Gadenhad bleeding the last of his lifeblood onto the stones, his acolytes and followers slain around him, and the air still thick with the acrid, corrupting scent of the banishment of demons, the oily smoke that denotes their exit from the prime material plane, still leaving a by now familiar stench in the air that is already heavy with the ozone of magic and the copper of blood. But, for the most part, peace has descended into the obsidian cavern that houses the Celestial Bridge. The only sound is a dull thrum, more felt than heard, the sensation of vast amounts of magical potential that are still gathered in this place by the ancient workings of the dwarves of Gurda. Naira, Uther, both of you are still under the cloak of your invisibility. Larium and Wander, both of you badly hurt, and only just newly regaining your feet after the battle that was to come. Wander, as you survey the carnage all around, let's start with you.
I'm gonna take that moment of quote-unquote catching breath and looking at our surroundings, and I'm gonna second level healing word Chorium. So how the fuck do you upcast? I'm gonna do it at second level, like I said. So
Session's 87.
I am not a caster. I am a melee fighter. You get 11.
Yay.
You know, no, I take it back. Fuck you.
You can't take it back, it's there.
No backsies. I mean, shit. I guess then I'll just try to see if, at a cursory glance around the room, if I can tell where Uther and or Naira are.
Yeah, neither of them are actively hiding from you, so you are aware of their general location, the sound of their boots on the stone, the more recent evidence of the blood spatter from this acolyte still dripping from the into visibility from Naira's rapier.
Right, as long as I see
you know that
two creatures moving about.
Naira is here, and you can hear the tread of Uther's boots on the stone here.
Alright, that's good. Yeah, I'm gonna walk over here and check and just, see if there's anything I can do besides healing word to help lower you.
Okay.
I didn't moments to try to patch him up at all.
Do you want to make like a medicine check, or what are you trying to do?
Well, really, I'm not trying to make any check. That's just what I'm RP.
You're just moving over to him. Okay.
Mechanically, I can just healing word him.
Fair enough. So while you're doing that, Uther, you're right next to them. You've seen these two standing amidst the now clearing black smoke of demonic banishment. Their footsteps through pools of spreading orcish blood. What are you doing?
He's going to, still with a bit of nerve, just run up as you'd hear him run past you, Lorium, getting a wide look around the room and making sure that I don't hear any other ones coming, as I like to check before I finally take that. Oh.
Roll me a perception check.
All right. Not terrible.
Looking around in the room itself, you certainly see no sign of any further enemies. With your devil sight, and indeed with simply the light and the energy that is rolling off the magic circle, even in its what you assume to be relatively inactive state, the room seems clear. Beyond it, with a 16, you don't hear any signs of activity from beyond the chamber itself. You would know, you are familiar enough with underground installations that it can be quite difficult, especially through the heavy dwarfen-made doors and the narrow passages that make up the cars that you currently inhabit. It can be difficult to hear things beyond the chambers that you are in, but right now you don't see any signs of anyone else or any immediate danger.
And then seeing that we're running out of time, as it'd be like 50, 10 more seconds, no worries. As he would go, saying it out loud, Reaper's going into the light, as he would snap his fingers and then drop it for both me and Naira.
Okay. Go ahead and...
Reaper's going into the light.
Boop. Does the Reapers go dark, or Reapers stay back in? Would then look back behind him and over towards Naira, as he'd say, "Guys, wow. I feel great. I didn't even get hit once. That was amazing. 10 out of 10 plan." As they'd just smile and go, "Naira, you did an excellent job as well, other than, I think you...
I think I broke a rib.
And he'll say out loud, "No, you didn't." And that would be his healing word.
Said no.
Nah.
Oh.
Oh, I clicked on myself, but that's to you. Take...
Eloquent Bard gaslighting his wife about her damage.
That's
I'm in so much pain. No, you're not.
I
No.
don't see anything.
And then it's like, oh, but I'm not.
I feel a little better, but it still hurts. Nah.
All right, do I want to examine these magic circles more, or do I want to search the bodies more? You're all very helpful. Thank you.
I don't know what you want to do. I only know how I'm going to react if you do one before the other.
I mean, coming to you, Naira. What are you doing as you shimmer back into visibility?
Thank you, sweetie. Can you come over here and help me search these bodies?
Of course.
Whew. 27.
Thanks, man.
Okay.
You're my hero.
Thanks,
you make me shine. I appreciate it.
And I assume that's
That's what
you
I'm
just
here
basically
for.
searching all of the bodies in the room.
Yes.
There are fewer than you would be used to, considering the intensity of the fight. However, you are aware of the fact, and used to at this point, of the fact that enemies the demons, devils, and the higher celestial beings, when they are slain on the material realm, are not truly slain, they are simply banished. And in general, over the course of the next century, will reform on their home plane. In this case, the last kind of traces of that demonic essence are fading from this realm. But on the bodies of the orcs that remain, you do find a good amount of equipment. The orcish acolytes that were dancing, chanting, and channeling so much of the power of this ritual in each of the secondary squares have surprisingly basic equipment on them at first glance. Primitive, stitched together hide armor and staffs. But with your magical awareness, you are certainly aware that there are spells woven into many of the kind of trinkets and things like that they carry around their person. They are kind of specific to these individuals. It's not like an amulet of protection that you could kind of put on your person or anything like that. But they are certainly magical curiosities, and to the right person could be relatively valuable. So from each of the acolytes, you can basically collect 4 sets of orcish magical trinkets.
4 sets of orcish magical trinkets.
The berserkers who fought at Gadenhad's side, their equipment is much more mundane and all obviously of brutish orcish manufacture. Everything is made of the kind of thick, roughly shaped plates that are typical of that species' creation. Very little of it would be suitable or even really wanted by most quote-unquote civilized smithies. You could possibly sell some of this for scrap in terms of their armor and things like that. They are, however, both carrying trophies. In some cases, jewelry that is mostly of dwarven make, but some of it also looks as though it came from elven or human kingdoms. Worn about their person, as I said, clearly kind of trophies taken in battle and the like. And you estimate they're each carrying around about 150 gold pieces worth of jewelry and just icons and amulets and stuff like that.
So among them 150 or 150 each?
Each.
So how many is that?
2.
2.
So yeah, 300 gold pieces worth of. I don't know why I said it that way. Yeah, so 300 gold pieces worth of jewelry, amulets, and other kind of iconography from various kingdoms. And then last, as well as gems, coins, and things like that, but all adding up to roughly that value. Last but
Why
not
do
least,
I just hear Tyler's voice going, what kind of gems?
I have so many diamonds.
Mostly semi-precious stones, actually. They're not carrying. They're not specifically carrying any diamonds, or at least no diamonds that would be of a size that would be of interest to a cleric as a component. Last but not least, however, Gadden had himself. His equipment, and indeed his whole body, stinks of magic. Even in the presence of the overwhelming outpouring aura of magic from this magical circle. His equipment lights up with magical fields. His armor and shield both have fairly robust protective enchantments woven into them. He's wearing a suit of what Naira would easily be able to identify, especially with 27, as a +1 plate armor and a +1 shield. And last but not least, his mace. Whilst it does have enchantment to enhance the ability of whomever wields it to both strike weak points on their target and deal damage to the target of its blows, you can feel an undercurrent of another enchantment upon it. But you would need to cast identify in order to, yeah. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, he has about his person a lot of basically ritualistic magical materials. Powdered silver, powdered platinum, powdered diamond, runes that you can see match various runes in this room, inscribed with arcana and things like that. Obviously, the attempts that he has made over the years to refine his control over the circle.
Naira is going to take the mace over to Wander and say, there's some kind of magic on this. I'm not quite able to figure out what it is. Do you think you could identify it?
I'll finish my very in-depth and helpful doctor's checkup of Lorium. Mm-hmm. And I'll, in terms of how fucked up is fucked up, that's fucked up. I'll hold a hand out and say, I can do it now.
Perfect. And I'll hand it right over. And then I will start examining the ritual circles.
Okay.
Do you point out the plate mail? Or anything that Gadden had?
Oh, yes. I will have given everything else. I would have told everybody what I picked up.
Okay.
You guys
do you want me to identify it first, or do you want to do the circle first?
No, go ahead and cast your identify, and then we'll swing back around to Naira after. But just for everybody's kind of knowledge, both the armor and the shield are festooned with iconography of Grunch. It could, given sufficient time and effort, be removed, but they are obviously items that have been worn and carried by somebody who was fanatically devoted for a great period of time. They are also of orcish manufacture, so a little bit kind of rough and ready, but also obviously of the enchantments would help them to fit more comfortably than an item of orcish manufacture otherwise might. And also, though he was, by human standards, fairly bulky, again, you are aware of the ability of magical equipment to sort of adjust itself to the wearer. Should you wish. But sorry, what was that, Naira?
was just gonna say, I bet Wander can buff that out.
But cool. Okay, you draw out your pearl, focus through it to gain clarity on the magical item in your hand, and discover that it is a mace of terror. This magic weapon has 3 charges. While attuned and holding it, you can use an action to expend 1 charge to release a wave of terror. Each creature of your choice in a 30-foot radius extending from you must succeed on a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw, or become frightened of you for 1 minute. While it is frightened in this way, a creature must spend its turns trying to move as far away from you as it can, and it can't willingly move to a space within 30 feet of you. It also can't take reactions. For its action, it can only use a dash action to try and escape from an effect that prevents it from moving. Or try to escape from an effect that prevents it from moving. If it has nowhere it can move, the creature can use the dodge action. At the end of each of its turns, a creature can repeat the saving throw, ending the effect on itself on a success. The mace regains 1d3 expended charges daily at dawn.
And Wander relays that in fantasy terms.
I really want that to be Wander's new ace.
I don't. Funnily enough.
But darkness!
Mace of Terror just doesn't sound like the weapon a good guy would use, you know?
We can put a new name!
Mace of Scared?
No, Mace, Robic. They're getting their steps in!
Mace of Runaway.
Mesa, bad guy, run
There
away.
you go.
Imagine it fetches a pretty penny.
Mace of regret.
Mace of you done fucked up.
Mace of Find Out.
Mesa, it's too late.
Anyway.
Mace of Uh-Oh.
With my, detect magic, do I get advantage on this arcana, or no?
Sorry, 1 sec. From your detect magic, no. However, you are already familiar. Sorry, go on.
You gave me 2 advantages to use when I'm investigating in this room.
I did. So if you wish to go ahead and use one of those, you absolutely may. Go ahead and roll me an Arcana.
Thank God.
Big Brenu.
With a 26. This is a masterwork of arcane creation. The more you examine the layers of enchantments and runic overlays that are in this room, the more kind of impressed you are. You are a scholar, of magic. And as such, you are almost uniquely qualified to admire the intricacy of what has been laid out here. The way that safeguards are built one on top of the other, but also allow for an almost unprecedented ability for this magic circle to be tuned and turned and targeted in different ways and utilized for different purposes, depending upon the intent of its wielder. This is clearly a circle intended for summoning. That much is fairly obvious. But the more you examine it, the more you realize that very specifically what this is intended for is something that can summon multiple things, and that thing can be changed depending on the intent of who is using it. It explains why Gadenhad was able to use it to pull through beings from the lower planes. He had essentially attuned it in that direction over the period that he had been here. His rituals of blood magic and desecration of this room had pushed the energy and the attunement of the portal more and more in that direction, corrupting, if you like, the energies that were gathered here. You understand with a 26 that you could use it to contact or to reach out to, at least, virtually anywhere in the entire cosmology of the inner or outer planes.
Oh, so this is a way to call the Ursinals.
That would certainly be one use to which you could put it.
Space Bear telephone.
Oh. Do I think I know how to do that?
With the 26, let me double check something. Doom, me.
Dial
Did you
the
say
number
doom?
written down in the urinal.
Don't do that.
86753.
You believe you believe you're close. With a circle of this complexity, there's 124 individual runes that need to be precisely attuned in order to correctly target something. You believe that you know enough to point it in the right direction, but there would be a risk that whoever was kind of channeling the circle, if you got unlucky during the channeling process, you could basically get the arcane equivalent of a wrong number. You'd be in the right area code, so you probably would be talking to a celestial, but there is no telling whether it would be the correct celestial or what their response would be to basically being spam called.
Could I ask Uther to help me figure it out? Try another Arcana?
Uther, are you... you're not proficient in Arcana, but you do have the Bardic half proficiency, so... yes, I'll allow you another roll by consulting with your dearly beloved.
Can I Guido that, or is this happening in a quick time span?
You can guidance it. Ooh, well, not that you
I was gonna
need
take
to.
it though.
36. Okay.
So, feeling pretty puny right about now.
You believe that yes, you actually consulting with Uther, reviewing the precise meanings of some of the dwarven runes that are inlaid over the arcana of this place, using his deeper understanding of the dwarvish language and culture. You do, and bolstered even by Wander's divine power, giving you a measure of clarity on the connections to the celestial realms and things like that. You do believe, actually, that you would, given enough time, be able to, and by that I mean like several hours of work and preparation in this room, you would be able to successfully, essentially, attune the circle to what you believe to be the home of the Ursinals. You did research them rather thoroughly, so you know that they are native to the plane of Elysium in general, and that more specifically they are essentially the helpers of the goddess Maestra. So focusing in on her realm within the within Elysium, and more specifically the House of Barre, who is the queen or great bear mother of the Ursinals. This would be something that would take a good deal of time to accomplish, as I said, simply because of the complexity of the ritual involved. And then in order to activate it, you would need to essentially channel a measure of power or intent through the circle.
And
Like more than one of you would need to do so.
so I do feel confident that I could tell people how to do that. And do I think
More
it
or
needs
less,
to be do I think it needs to be arcane or divine? Or does it matter?
Actually, you believe it would probably, given that you are contacting these celestial realms, they are more highly attuned to radiant and divine energies, so you actually believe it would potentially be better if at least a portion of the power channeled through the circle was divine in nature.
Just realized that this is going to be a weird moment for Naira. Given all, he is going to return to the group with Uther, I assume, and say, all right, I Wander. I think that this is it. I think this is how we contact the Arsenals. And well, I think it needs to be at least you, if not both of you. And she gestures to Laurium. If you guys have more magical energy to spare, I can tell you what to do, but I can only help. Oh, right. Didn't yeah, because you did like a ridiculous number of crits, right? Well, there's also, I mean, I would obviously love to be able to make this happen as soon as possible, but do I think that there's any risk in anything happening to this if we rested?
No, you are aware that this has, like, this circle as a structure is at minimum 100 years old. The dwarves abandoned this place 75 years ago, at least 75 years ago, and it survived Gadenhad's desecration through at least a decade of that. Plus, who knows whatever else has happened in the intervening decades. So yeah, you're pretty certain that this is fairly stable as a structure gets.
So yeah, I would indicate, unless you think, or I think, through God, that lay on hands would work. Yay or nay on that?
Potentially yes. It would depend on the essentially what you would have to do is this is a kind of facility that is intended for use by a dozen skilled arcanists working together. You, with a 36, are an exceptionally skilled arcanist, and so will be able to basically handle a lot of what would normally be done in terms of the heavy lifting of binding the arcane energies together, channeling them properly, and things like that. However, you know, the more help your companions can give you in terms of the more energy they can channel through it, and the more closely attuned that energy is to the target that you're trying to reach, the better.
I only have 15 points left.
I've got a little bit of magic I could throw in on that. And if you're looking to do a little bit of talking, I know that our gods are, as he shrugs, next door neighbors, so to say.
My only concern is if we do it wrong and, well, cause a bigger problem. There is no reason why we shouldn't long rest and then have all of our resources at our disposal. Don't you think?
Uther
And it
looks
would also-
over
Sorry.
at them, and yeah, I'm almost out of gas too. I was saving some tricks in case we totally got screwed over, but other than all the corpses in this room, yeah, might not be bad to get a rest for a minute.
And it would give Wander time to think about what he wanted to ask or say. If you haven't already.
Then we'll rest.
Eight. I had pile these bodies up somewhere in like a corner. Like over
Just
here.
over there? Yeah, okay. Spend a few minutes moving the bodies aside, clearing the dwarven circle from the corpses of those who desecrated it. As you do, Lorium and Wander in particular, both of you come, and especially with the more that Naira explains what has happened here, her understanding of this circle and what Gadenhad was doing. This room is essentially under the effects of a desecration, which is what allowed him to empower these runes and break the circle that should have contained whatever was summoned. You also, looking around, Lauren, as you come over here, you can see what at one point would likely have been a place set up for dwarven scholars to work on this circle and to examine the energies contained by it, to refine them, to refine their targeting through it, and more importantly, perhaps, record the conclusions and the chronicles of the efforts that they made utilizing it. Unfortunately, over recent years, whatever notes they may have taken, whatever progress they may have made, has been replaced. The papers that you can see scattered around are largely scrawled with blood in a combination of abyssal and other lower plane languages. And even more concerning, sitting inches deep in the base of this container, blood is congealing slowly.
Ooh. Lorium, after the fight, simply just was staring at Wander, and as Wander came over to check on Lorium, and then once Wander seemed like he was satisfied, shuffled over to the table and just sat down and has been sitting there the whole time, but once Naira walks over, he'll just point behind him towards the play.
Oh. Lovely.
It's like pudding.
Don't stick a spoon in there.
I hold my nose and go have a look.
Okay. from what you can see, yeah, I mean, looking around at the notes and things like that, much of it does appear to be basically infernal research notes, essentially. Like records in a combination of languages, primarily infernal, that, or abyssal rather. That, yeah, but you do recognize the languages regardless. But that chronicle the attempts made by Gadenhad over the past few years to align the circle with the lower planes. You see records as you examine them of his, desecration rituals, the application of these runes to allow the demons that they summon to cross the barrier and enter the prime material at large. The experiments where he would take the most brutal and vicious from among his tribe and his warband and infect them or partially possess them of the infernal essence. Mostly, however, they are simply ramblings about the glory of Grumsh and the power of blood to overcome the limitations of what the dwarves had attempted to achieve.
Always looking for shortcuts.
But is there anything in particular that you are looking for?
Mostly just to figure out what they are and if we need them.
Okay. I mean, with a 36, to which, is still kind of, you're still rocking that level of understanding of the circle, no. You basically kind of get the impression that Gadenhad was basically trying to brute force essentially a combination lock. He had just spent the last years pouring blood, corruption, and power into it in an attempt to overwhelm the safeguards that the dwarves had built, and had been, as you saw during your battle, largely successful. But with a 36, you certainly you consider his attempts to be, as you said, like clumsy, ham-fisted shortcuts. Compared to the true potential and utilization of a circle.
If anything, this is really just a testament to the dwarven ingenuity. We should get ourselves a couple of dwarves. There's a gnome upstairs. They're like short dwarves.
But, Uther, are you doing anything? Or are you trying, or do you want to do anything? Or, okay.
Nope, just helping Naira.
Okay, Naira, what were you going to say then?
Oh, just Naira is sort of muttering to herself, just basically like, difficulty exists, so success can only be achieved by those who deserve it.
Wonder, how about you? Because this whole, the examination of so complex an artifact, the level of understanding that she's able to glean from it takes a good hour of moving around, careful examination, reading through the notes, examining the magical fields that surround everything. And so while she is engaged with that, what is Wanda up to?
I will cast Sending.
Okay.
I'm texting Naira that says, "Mom, are we there yet?" I'm gonna cast Sending. I'm gonna send to Mr. Warven Sparkhagel.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say Gadenhad is dead. We killed many of his group. We plan to use the bridge now. Until we meet again, please do not become evil. I can put these in here. I had to get the word count out. I think that's exactly 25.
Okay.
Please
Yeah,
do
if you
not
can
become
go ahead and post
evil.
that. Okay, 1 second.
It is like a mini plane shift where, like, you got to have a response ready for anything from anyone at any time. And before that, you get no response. You remember he's wearing a ring.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There's a moment of silence after you cast your spell and throw your voice out toward your new acquaintance. And then a few moments later, you hear his voice in your head. Excellent news. I'm sure it was necessary. Best of luck to you. I hope to see you soon, and I hadn't planned on it.
Man, the worst usually don't.
Is there anything else you want to do while Naira is completing her assessment?
No.
No?
That's it for
Okay.
me.
Okay. So, Naira, from your assessment, as I said, you understand that you understand very well the workings of the of the Celestial Bridge as a whole, as kind of a mechanism. What you know is that at this point, basically, if there was a dial of alignment for the Celestial Bridge, it is currently moved all the way toward the lower planes. The blood sacrifices, the runes of dried blood that are engraved across it, the desecration effects and spells that have been poured into this place. All of those would make it more difficult to align the circle back with the celestial planes when you make your attempt to contact the Ursinals. But, as I said, you do believe that you essentially have the right, phone number in terms of the runes that would need to be activated, the kind of targets that would need to be set for each of the individual magical mechanisms that are a part of the whole. And so you may discuss any preparations that you would wish to make for your attempt with the group before or as part of your long rest, which you all may now take if you wish.
Aye.
Yay.
Wander,
Yes.
well, what would you like us to do? Well, obviously open our communication as best we can, but this feels like your show, so... What can we do for you?
Only be there. That's all.
Well, that's easy enough.
Okay, and I'm sure spell selection will take a moment. So let me know if you need to be re-imported.
I think I'm good. I don't need no re-import. Been
Okay.
rocking the same spells for like 5 long rests now.
I definitely won't need contagion. I won't need it. I'm not gonna poison any space bears. There will be no battle in this session.
There is no
I'm
war, boss
sure
insane.
There is no war in D&D.
Tempest gets Thanos snapped. No!
Alright. Methinks me am good. Probably.
Gonna go ahead and start your import. Start your import.
Vroom, vroom.
Okay.
Minimum scar. Vroom, vroom.
Minimum scar. Wander takes a long rest and recovers 89 hit points. Lorium takes a long rest and recovers 105 hit points. Naira takes a long rest and recovers 28 hit points. Uther takes a long rest.
Vibing.
It's feeling good.
Try being even. He was feeling
You-
good. He was feeling.
You take your ease in the room. Your rest is is undisturbed. Though you know for certain that you did not defeat all of Gabenhad's warband. From Warvin's testimony, there were certainly at least scores, if not hundreds, of orcs down here, apart from his core band. But with the defeat, or evident defeat, of their warband leader, none of the remainder seem interested in finding out anything that might be happening within the Celestial Bridge. Occasionally wander as you stand post throughout the night, or, well, whatever passes for the night during your rest period. You do hear occasionally calls and cries in the brutish orcish language, but none of it approaches closely. It sounds though perhaps the remnants of the band are either fighting for supremacy or squabbling over whatever remnants remain beyond this room. But there is no sign of anybody approaching the Celestial Bridge itself.
Cool. That's good news.
So, one by one, you each awaken. Impossible to tell precisely what time it is, but you estimate it's based on the time when you left the Celestial Observatory and your journey down through the mountain. You'd estimate it's roughly morning when you begin to awaken one by one. The Celestial Bridge is much as you left it. The chamber is large enough that the bodies piled at the far end are not yet becoming an issue that you must deal with. And primarily, the only sort of sensation or sense that you are getting in this room is the sharp, kind of almost alchemical tang of heavy magic in the air. What are we doing?
Uther would turn to everyone and say, "Our journey has led us to this cosmic crossroads, and through the path though the path may be treacherous, we walk it together. We are not just adventurers, we are architects of destiny, the wielders of cosmic might. The space bears may bring death and war, but we bring something far more potent. Death and war. Today, let the galaxies tremble at our roar, for we are the guardians of light, the sentinels of hope." And then you're inspired, and you don't forget your...
Absolutely, you
yeah.
are, yeah. if you didn't have inspiration, take it for that. That was great.
Space bears may have war and death, but we have something greater: war and death. Thank you, Truman.
You have no idea what we're capable of. Have you seen what we do to each other? Do you know what we'll do when we get an outside bad guy?
The old humanity fuck yeah trope.
Just Wander, are you ready?
We'd be space orcs if we got off the planet, is all I'm saying.
Yes.
All right, well then I will tell everybody what to do.
Oh, and when I can see we're about to implement it, I'm gonna burn a bunch of things real quick because I know a lot of people are about to do some cooking. So I'm gonna let them work, but I'm gonna go. Lorium, Naira, and Wander. I want you to know that I believe in you. We've got this, all right? And I'm gonna go 1, 2, and 3. Everybody's inspired.
Hell yeah.
Okay. So, how are you approaching this?
The way that my 36 decided it was the best way.
Okay. Well, what you'd be aware of is, with a 36, certainly, one of the things that would make it easier is if you were to remove or try and counteract some of the desecration that Gadden had performed over the years, as a initial preparation before you attempted the activation and realignment of the circle itself.
All I know is I'm definitely taking the purple circle.
Naira's going to go ahead and well, she probably would have done that unless I can get help from other people to do that. She probably would have done that before getting everybody else over.
Okay, so what are you doing with prestidigitation?
Oh, I was fixing my hair.
Oh. Fair enough.
What? I'm about to meet space bears.
Well, if I'm gonna meet space bears, I may as well look better than them. So when you say get rid of the desecration, is it actually like hallow and then someone chose to desecrate the area, or is it more just like generally speaking a sense of ew and yuck throughout the air?
What's your religion? What's your passive religion?
Not very high.
So 15. Okay. Well, with a 15, whilst like it is more complex than sort of the actual desecration spell, you certainly do believe that if you were to cast Hallow, that would make your attempt a lot easier. That wouldn't necessarily count as a part of the attempt. You could also cast Hallow or channel the energy from a Hallow spell as part of the attempt, which would certainly be very much in alignment with the Celestial Planes. But yes, you believe that if you were to take the time to hallow this area, that would be of great benefit.
I would love to, but
Please.
hallow is very expensive.
How expensive?
1,000 gold. It's also not just 1,000 gold, it's 1,000 gold of materials that I shrimply do not have.
Really?
My brother in Christ, why would I have 1,000 gold's worth of spices on me?
Oils and incense worth at least 1,000 GP.
Like, I've got a lot of incense, but not 1,000 gold worth. In fact, I have 600 gold worth of incense.
If you were to augment that with other materials such as like powdered silver, powdered diamond, anything of that sort, that would count toward the cost of that.
Okay. And just because I did prepare this one because I was thinking about it, and it doesn't really it doesn't work for objects at all, right? But I'd have the spell dispel good and evil, or dispel evil and good. Would that do anything in this circumstance?
Let me take a peek.
I will put it in
Shimmering
El
energies
Chato.
of-
Like I said, it doesn't do anything mechanically speaking for anything that isn't a creature. But I figured perhaps if the goal here is to, dispel evil, then maybe.
I would, if you cast that, you would need to make a religion check to channel the energies properly. But I will allow you to make it with advantage, given that it is a 5th level spell.
Okay. Do I have plenty of powdered diamond just in case? I want to do the other thing.
Also, ceremony or something like that, whilst of a lesser benefit, would also at least do something. You get the impression that essentially what Gadden had done was layer casting after casting after casting of dark ceremonies in this place.
Oh.
So a celestial ceremony would go some measure. Not as good as a full consecration or anything like that, but depends on your resources, depends on the amount of power you want to push.
In that case, I mean, if you'll allow me to do Hallow and supplement the material cost with the powdered diamonds and such, I will do that, although I will say I did not prepare Hallow because I did not expect to be able to cast it.
Given that this was basically something that you were kind of discussing with Naira and the group during the long rest, I will allow you to swap out your spells if you wish. Also, Naira, you got a 36 on your Arcana? Okay, Wander, go ahead and roll me a religion check with advantage.
Habada.
I believe in you.
I believe in me too.
I'll have a day. Yeah, if you need it. Hey.
22, okay. Given that this area is already very magically active, and that a lot of channels of power are already open and available for manipulation in this place, and also given Naira's exceptionally strong understanding of those patterns, you believe that you would actually need far less power than normal to perform a Hallow. With a 22, you believe that you would actually need only in the region of 350 gold pieces worth of materials.
And I could just use incense for that, or would I need to actually supplement with some diamond dust and some silver dust?
Up to you. I would allow you to use a combination thereof.
Well, if you got 20 pounds of incense, what's using 8 pounds of it, right? So yeah, I'll do that. I'll quickly try to reinform myself because you know Hallow, and I'll cast Hallow in the area using 350 gold pieces. You said?
Yes.
Worth of incense.
Okay.
So how about a cha? It's got an area, so it probably makes sense. There's no danger of like walking in the center of the circle, right?
No. From what Naira has expounded about it, like at the moment the circle is essentially inactive. You will need to channel power into it in order to kind of activate any kind of effect.
Everyone must make saves. Fools.
No!
They've fallen for my trap. Then I will do that. 350 gold pieces worth of incense and a casting time. I think it's 24 hours. So.
Is it a full 24 hours? Holy shit.
That's all right. Doing it anyway. I'll start hollowing. Whatever I can do to help.
Even
You-
Wander succeeds.
begin the process, lengthy though it is, of enshrining and the intent of this place and realigning the energies, and most importantly, banishing the layers of corruption and evil that have been poured into it over the years. This is a process that will take a full day. During that period, the rest of you are able to interact with Wander as he manipulates the energies, chants his prayers and devotions and the like. But that is something that was going to take a whole hour or a whole day. So what are the rest of you up to while he's doing that?
Helping.
Helping, she says. Hum, 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 hum. Would I feel like casting ceremony on these main fucking magical supplementation circles and maybe doing dedication towards celestial? Would that potentially assist?
Yeah, you believe that would definitely be of benefit. Any kind of celestial energy that you can pour into this place right now will make your eventual attempt easier throughout this day. And Naira, with a 36, you are also aware that you are not simply pointing like true celestial, if you like, in terms of if you were to consider the alignment of this place as a dial. There is a sacred and central to the ideas and the nature of the Ursinals is also the idea of knowledge, of gathering and safeguarding information and awareness of what is happening in the world and beyond it. So potentially also anything that you and Uther, though you and Uther are limited in your celestial energies, there's also the possibility of any arcana that you could pour in that would be specifically devoted toward knowledge could also help either now or in the eventual attempt.
Arcana that has to do with knowledge. I gotta comprehend languages.
He's going to crack his fingers as he's going to go, well, I've got one thing I can kind of try. Oh, let me think about this. Yes, seems like the proper hymn. And he's going to sit down, and he's going to go through it, playing out essentially the closest rendition he can to like the church music and hymnals and like music of blessings and the like that he knows. Some of Kalimvor, some of not, perhaps some of the other gods he enjoys, and just to do his best as he works magic through music. So this is his way of doing it.
Because you are channeling it through your music, your words, go ahead and give me a performance check.
Performance.
Mm.
22. Okay. Yeah. As you kind of sit amidst these feeling these kind of swirling magical fields around you, the understanding that you've gleaned of them from the connection that you share with your wife and simply from studying them alongside her as she investigated and familiarized herself with the layers and layers, you kind of feel them and hear them almost around you, almost like a symphony seen through the eyes of someone with synesthesia. You are feeling these magical fields around you as the echoes of musical notes, and somehow, some way, despite the discordance that there should be between your arcana and the celestial energies that are being channeled here, with a 22, you are able to harmonize.
You just smile when it finally clicked, when they finally start you match beat per minute, everything. As I'm like, there it is. And then just play along as everyone else is working.
Okay, and Lorium, you're moving from circle to circle and casting ceremony?
Yes, but as it only lasts for 25 or 24 hours, he will be doing it several hours after Wander starts casting his 24-hour spell.
Okay, and yeah, I mean, it is a 24-hour process, so throughout the day you will have plenty of opportunity. Naira, how about yourself?
Naira's feeling a little bit weird, because she has magic to supplement where she doesn't already, naturally thrive. So she doesn't have a whole lot of magic that has anything to do with that kind of thing. All her stuff explodes or burns.
I mean, you did mention comprehend languages. That, though it's not a spell that you can kind of cast into this thing, you do believe that it would be suitable to the attempt that you are eventually got, as a power to channel in and try and activate the magical circle. You do believe that it would be appropriate there. But if you wish, you can say that you simply basically support the endeavors of the rest of your group, help them to channel their energies in the appropriate way, given the understanding that you have of the magical circle.
Yeah, unless I think Counterspell could do anything. But that's probably actually what Naira would be doing. She's going around and just, whenever she sees an opportunity to, make things a little bit more guaranteed or more efficient or whatever, she'd just be like, I can help.
After 23 and a half hours, Counterspell the Hallow.
It's exactly what I want to do.
Then go ahead and roll me a, you're familiar with both religion and arcana, so I'll say you can either roll an arcana, or you can roll a religion with advantage.
Question, what's the average, benefit that you get from rolling with advantage? What's the number?
I think it's +4, +4.5.
The default is +5 to passive
there you
stuff,
go.
but I mean average. So that's the average benefit.
So religion is technically the slightly safer bet.
It is DC 15 to succeed on an assist roll, so okay. Yeah. You move about throughout the day, helping to realign and rechannel, refocus the energies that your companions are pouring into this ritual. This chamber becomes oddly kind of familiar to you in that time, the world beyond it fading, the stout doors that you have since closed, basically blocking out the rest of this, and your world and focus kind of shrinking in as you all more and more and more intently focus in on this. The rest of you, all three, eventually, as Wander chants and channels on and on and on throughout the course of the day, eventually sleep overtakes you all, and you rest, hearing his voice chanting on feeling the pulse of the comfort of a radiant divine energy more and more suffusing this room, pushing aside the discomfort, the itch, the oily feel against your skin of evil that had pervaded this place. And is there anything else that anyone else wishes to do with the 24 hours that you have at your disposal?
Upon waking, Kaz? No, 2 before sleep and then 2 after waking up.
For your ceremony?
Yeah,
Okay.
since they're an hour-long process.
Okay.
I don't get exhausted, do I?
Good question.
Let me double check something.
I ask purely because it's 24 hours
Mm-hmm.
of going kumbaya.
Actually, one question I do have.
Uh-huh.
It's stupid, and the answer is no. So don't even worry about it.
Okay.
But
I was gonna say, can I cast haste on Wander for a little while? But no, because once haste wears off.
he starts spitting like Eminem. Sounds like the Pope is dropping the sickest mixtape of all time.
Because he doesn't need much sleep, he could break up the casting time.
I will say that for the purposes of this,
Because, like, the solution is, if I am exhausted, the solution is just I rest and then we do the thing. But
yeah, for this purpose, that you would actually need to take you would basically be exhausted. You would have a level of exhaustion from missing a night's sleep, because yes, it is 24 hours of direct concentration on the casting. So whilst you are able to kind of talk and interact with others, you are needing to maintain a constant, at least partial focus on the casting of it. So, but yes, if you wish after the casting, you could then rest yourself.
yeah, I mean, I'll after I finish that, I'll just take a position like a fucking Buddha in the center of the circle, and then just stay there.
So, the rest of you awaken to a room that smells fresher than it did. The strange scent and feeling of discomfort that you had from the room, the pressure of the power that was emanating from the magic circle lessening on you. And Wander, standing in the center of the magical circle that is now glowing slightly with a subtle power that has changed in tone. But as he rests, Lauren, you can cast your remaining 2 ceremonies. Uther and Naira, is there anything that you wish to do with your morning, or while Wander rests and you prepare for the attempt?
Nothing that I can particularly think of, other than Uther would be working with a Naira through like the new movie script, because we always update. And, like,
Yeah, we leave out the part where we had to wait 36 hours to use the circle.
gets cut.
It's in the director's cut. Yeah. Specifically because I know I casted Hallow, but I had to use supplementary sources. Do I still get to choose an effect?
Yes.
Then I'm gonna choose the Tongues effect. Affected creatures can communicate with any other creature in the area, even if they don't share a common language.
Okay.
Like,
Okay. Good choice. Very good choice.
Before we
okay.
begin, I'm going to ritually cast Comprehend Languages on myself.
Okay. Sorry, go on.
Nope, nothing. Never mind.
Well, before we begin, I actually do just need a really quick break because I have drunk far too much cider. So I'll be right back, and then we can get things going.
Space Bears, we're almost there.
man.
Spacecation.
So yeah, only side thought. Make sure. Well, you guys will still have it. You get your. He'd do another inspiring speech in the morning, as well as before he would. You guys like right when he thinks like you're pulling the trigger for it. Essentially, he would hit you with the inspiration. So make sure you keep that up because they only last for like 10 minutes. So.
Hey. Man, I'm not thirsty now, but will I be in a couple hours?
Absolutely.
Probably. Will I get up to go get it in the middle of a grand speech? No. So I should go get it now.
Ooh, I want a frozen banana. No, but I do want a regular banana ladies. So yes.
So I'm gonna go freeze a banana. I suddenly...
Are we streaming?
Kosover? He's gone.
Do you guys know Mitch Hedberg?
Yes, love.
I do not.
Escalator can never be broken. An
Let me
escalator
find.
can only temporarily become stairs. Sorry for the convenience. By the way, I don't know if you know this one, but that joke he makes about the difference between American England and Smokey the Bear and like Slappy the Frog or whatever, it's bullshit. It's total bullshit. That does not exist.
Yeah, Slappy the Frog is not a thing.
They don't have fucking forest fires out there. It rains too
It always
goddamn
fucking rains, yeah.
I should go
Plus,
to
we cut down all of our forests.
Not Sherwood, which still like, there are certain
Fair.
things that I'm just like, that's a real goddamn place. What?
Yeah, like that's the thing. When you start getting through into England, it's almost like you have to play the game of like real, not real. And it's like Arthur was the first king of England. Technically real. Did he actually like slay a dragon? Well, probably not. Like
Like, probably not. I mean, like, 99% chance he didn't. But I mean, like, if he did, I don't want to be wrong, so...
Oop, that's
Green.
the wrong reaction.
Green.
Green, what is your problem, Green?
Robin Hood, real.
Well, that's one of those things that, like,
Yeah,
there may once have been a robber baron called Robin, but that's about where the realness ends. The first
What I
actually,
need-
the first version of sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say the first version of Robin Hood that people actually kind of can say, okay, yeah, this is who recognizable as Robin Hood. Was basically like basically kind of like a sales catalog for a guild of cloth merchants. And that's where the idea of the merry men all wearing like big red hoods and stuff like that came from. Because in the story, it was talking about like all the wonderful clothing that they wore and how it was all about the drip, basically.
Is it not?
And yeah, it was all, and it was specifically about them as merchants fighting against taxation. So it was basically corporate propaganda.
I had a story that I was working on that involved that had to do with King Arthur and all that stuff. And one of the things that I found out was that Stonehenge, legitimately in real life, it has a grave underneath at the center. There is a body buried there. And so it was the idea that it was Uther Pendragon, Arthur's father, was at the center of Stonehenge. Which is apparently a big conspiracy theory out there.
Well, now I'm gonna go get a little shovel.
Yeah, I mean, it
Walk
can't be
me
that
over
hard
there.
to dig up. If we get enough of us, what are they going to do? It's like storming Area 51.
I was about to say.
I'm just
I
saying,
don't
if
think
they didn't
4
stop,
is enough of us. 5.
bring dogs.
Storming Area 51 is not a good example because they all walk to the fucking border where it actually not even getting in, just the outer border, and we're like, okay, no, we're not gonna push.
Yeah, they're
this.
cowards.
That man has an M40. No, thank you.
I knew that they would be there, but I still decided to spend money to get there and be a coward. Fucking moron.
I do still just love all of the footage from the news covering of it, of a reporter there talking into camera, and then people just Naruto running past in the background.
Yeah. Really just ashamed to be an American that day, not gonna lie. It's very much like, wow,
The whole world's
there is
watching.
no good outcome now. We just look like idiots.
Well, it's been that way
Anyway.
for a few centuries.
Sounds like everybody's back, so are we all good to go?
Yeah.
Space Bear Tally-ho!
Space Bear Tally-ho.
Okay,
Anyways, bear.
so
This is where Naira surprises everyone and turns evil.
Bear
Go,
in the big blue
Wander!
house.
I
So,
would be so angry.
with all of your preparations complete, the room, the obsidian cavern, rums with celestial energy from the preparations that you all have made. The Hallow spell is pushing has aligned all of these magical circles in the right direction. The ceremony reinforcing, stamping down the celestial alignment in turn. Naira, through those 36 hours, you had more than enough time to utilize your understanding of the circle to activate the precise runes and essentially make sure that it was targeted toward the correct destination. What you believe to be the home of the Ursinals in the Celestial Plains. Now, all that remains is to activate the circle itself. To do so, you would know that essentially you need to channel power into it. The more closely aligned the power that you channel is with your target, the better, the more likely the attempt is to succeed. You have each correctly surmised that these circles, which were previously inhabited by the orcish acolytes, are the control circles for this mechanism. And so by standing in them, each of you is able to contribute in your own way to the effort of opening the portal that you have targeted. So, one by one, Uther, I'm assuming you are going to just plonk yourself there?
Yes.
Okay, so, as you prepare yourselves in the afternoon now of your second day in this room, who wants to go first?
I think all our heads swivel to Wander.
As Wander was looking at you like, alright, what do I do? Well, I guess I'll start by taking hold of this mission by force. I will try to fucking do a thing. I don't know. I'm not an arcane guy. I'll reach out with my hands. Try to start channeling something. Start by like trying, like going through the motions of casting a heal spell.
Which spell specifically?
Heal.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Go ahead and cast.
We're gonna target you because I have to.
No.
You summon this upswell of life energy from within you, channeling it through your body and into the magical circle that you inhabit. You feel it pulsing out and in with a 6th level spell. That is going to be an automatic success on your check, and in the center, the faint outline of a portal reappears. Who wants to go next?
Nose goes.
Naira probably is actually looking toward Lorium because she sees the divine nature of their magics to be more efficient.
Fine.
God. Go ahead, cast haste.
No. He'll cast Prayer of Healing at 3rd level.
Okay.
So he will merely sit. It doesn't let me outcast. Okay.
That's fine. You can just mark off the 3rd level.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Something. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Fuck you, Tyler!
Given that this is a 3rd level, you are going to need to make a check. You can roll a religion. However, because you guys took the time to hallow this area and reinforce that with the ceremony, it is a lower DC, and you are making the check with advantage as you attempt to properly align and focus your energies into the portal.
You are so obscenely believed in.
And I get D8 from Uther's Guide.
Yep. You got this.
Woo! 26.
Awesome.
The purple fire flares around you and then down, whirling into the lines and runes of the circle that you inhabit. It flares in sympathy, the whole room reverberating with power. And in the center, the portal grows stronger, clearer. Uther, Naira, you believe with your understanding of this mechanism, you are actually pretty close to a success. One more successful check should be enough to establish the bridge. Who wants to try?
Uther, what spells do you have?
That are holy. That I could pump into this thing.
Not necessarily holy. You know from your channels or from your discussion with Naira, you both are very aware that it simply needs to be a expression, a channeling of power or intent that is aligned with your goal and with your target, which in this case is celestial knowledge.
He would pause for a moment. You know, I've got a lot of confusing things in here for him. I might send the wrong message. You might want to go first. They might
So I
like
know-
you, Ross. He scratches his nose.
So I know that the higher level spells, the more likely it is to succeed, right?
Yes, the more power you channel in, this is a subject of, yes, like either power or precision, ideally both.
Finger of Death,
And
Holy
I-
Circle, do it.
Can I? I don't know if this is a good idea, but can I upcast Find Familiar? It's a bond with
Oh.
a celestial.
True!
Yeah, you absolutely can. Yep. Goddamn, no, that's...
Bind the originals to you!
Bind the space bears to our will.
I'll just go straight to 5th level then. Might as well.
Okay. Given Naira's mastery of the arcane, her familiarity with the subtleties of this kind of planar magic, and your godlike understanding of the mechanisms of this portal, you basically are able to channel the portions of the spell that reach out to the celestial planes and seek the beings that are your intent, without basically enforcing the binding portion of it. You grab the ropes of power, the surging of energy coming from Wander and Lorium, and with your understanding of these energy flows, of the destination that is required, and of the intent that you all share to accomplish your long-held goal of contacting the Ursinals, use that power to push across the gulf between realms. And whirling in the center of the magic circle, the celestial bridge is reactivated. The portal crackles, shimmers, shifts, grows, solidifies, and steadies. And you believe that you have successfully established a connection to the home of the Ursinals. For a long moment, nothing happens. And then, a figure begins to appear. Striding from within the portal, tall and broad. Not the bear-like figure that you had expected, but instead a creature, a being that reminds you of your recent encounter with the man Magnus, or the Reaper Magnus, but this one, clearly different. No earthbound Leonid. You, Naira, would know this to be a Leonal, a type of Gardenal, who is considered akin, essentially, to the Ursinals. But whilst the Ursinals are concerned with the knowledge and information and cataloging the goings-on, basically administering the celestial planes, the Leonals are concerned with its protection and the enforcement of the will of those who rule those planes. He strides out, easily 8 feet tall, 5 feet across at the shoulders, broad, muscular, and covered in armor that does very little to hide the physique beneath it. It carries no apparent weapons, but the end of each of his fingers ends in a long, dagger-like claw. He strides through the portal, steps down into the material realm, and with this look of imperious curiosity, stares around him at the four of you. So, who are you that reached for the House of Knowledge?
And we all look at Wander.
I will say you're really gonna make me say we are the lions to the giant angel lion, but we are the lions of the horizon. We seek the arsenals for an answer.
The lions. Are you indeed? He is speaking, by the way, in High Celestial. You, Wander, can understand him, as can you, Naira, both because of your understanding of your normal understanding of Celestial and your channeling of comprehend languages. However, Laurium and Uther,
does the house
you both also do understand him because of Wander's choice of the Hallow spell. The syllables transforming in your mind into meaning and understanding. It is a very strange sensation hearing a tongue that is not normally possible to be spoken on the mortal plane, emanating from this hole between realities. It says, so you seek the knowledge of the Ursinals. You are not the first mortals to do so. You shall not be the last. So, lions, why are you worthy of this answer?
Well, if you would like me to show you, I can.
And moves to the edge of the circle and sort of looks down at you slightly and goes, "Can you, by gods? You think you can prove your worth?"
I believe that our deeds speak for themselves. You'll have to forgive me if there's a bit of emphasis on some things or a little exaggeration, but I will do my best to make sure that it is truthful. I hope you understand after why perhaps we seek this place and some of the knowledge within. And with that knowledge is a deep power, one that we have no intent of abusing, Great Guardian.
He considers you for a moment and then moves his hand, gesturing, channeling some kind of power from within. And as he looks at you, you see a small smile quirk his mouth as he says, "You believe that you speak the truth. Quite the story you must have to tell, Reaper."
Smiles at
Turns.
that, gives him another bow when he says Reaper, and just straightens up.
He turns then, and calling back through the portal in High Celestial, says, Archivist, you may enter. If nothing else, there is knowledge to be gleaned here. Another figure appears in the portal. This one smaller, but still imposing by normal standards. This one you recognize as an Ursinal. A humanoid, bear-like in feature, bulky by kind of human standards, almost actually akin to Lorium's size, but curiously scholarly. For all its bulk, it is almost slightly stooped, clad in what are clearly scholars' robes, sheaves of and satchels of scrolls and books about its person, and in its hand a great book with its other holding what seems to be an ethereal quill, as it appears and looks about and immediately begins recording words in its book. The Leonel, seeing its arrival, turns and nods to Uther and says, Then begin. Present your petition.
Uther will smile and nod. As
Harry
he'll...
getting out her fiddle.
Yes.
All right then.
And one, and two.
Luckily, I practice this all the time. Here we go.
Most important role ever.
You
I
do
was
have,
helping.
Okay, definitely helping. 20.
and you do have a
D8.
bardic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The D8
Yes,
bosses.
and I'm gonna drop one of these just cause, you know. And then if I can make it a movie, movies are better. And then
Ooh.
Ooh, 28. Okay.
performance advantage.
Whew!
24. Okay, with the 28 assist plus your major image. What story are you telling, and how are you telling it?
This one, as I would write it, I would show it from. There would be like a leaning into my perspectives on these things. Definitely showing myself as more of a fallible figure that somehow seems to keep making it through. Though the rest of them I show in a different light. But this one is really kind of the story of Uther, as I focus on him and the going out and blessing the city, his strange showing up within the town and just walking in to us as my strange feeling of parenthood to him in an odd form.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to this strange dynamic where as well as then showing him continuing to fight and saving everyone, his selflessness and willing to damage himself literally to keep us going, and end with the different notes of us being able to come together, and now me feeling definitely very much supposed to be on this continent in place with all these individuals around me, including my wife and perhaps my god's oldest friends. As I then kind of finish showing Wander's desire to see what is beyond. As then I'll end on that somber note. Fun
The
note.
Ursinal prowls the perimeter of the circle. These piercing diamond blue eyes, examining each of you in turn. As Uther's verses focus on each of you, he prowls to the edge and stares at you as the song progresses, glancing between them. Could you give me an insight check as he does so?
All of us?
All of you, if you wish.
Sure.
I will say I cannot. I'm
You're in the zone.
Yeah, I'm in the zone, running a full
zone.
show.
As am I.
No! See
Go on.
that indeed. Yes!
25. Okay. There is this look of almost haughty, imperious certainty on his face as he hears as he kind of listens to this music and examines each of you in turn. It's hard to discern what is going on behind this kind of alien face, which, though you are by no means strangers to feline features, there is something strange, unearthly even, about this figure that gives it lends a difficulty to discerning its emotions or impression. Wander, with a 25. You get the distinct impression that whilst he is listening to the words and even potentially enjoying the performance, you do see small, frissons of amusement and enjoyment crossing the face as Uther recounts certain events or gives particular pieces of artistic flair to his performance and things like that. You get the impression that there is a penetrating discernment in his gaze that is stripping away any kind of pretense that might be in the words, piercing through any kind of artistry or flair, and discerning a base truth within the performance. You are aware that certain very powerful entities on the planes are basically able to see the truth of any mortal soul in their presence. And with a 25, you are not certain, but you believe that at least a portion of that is happening here. During your performance, Uther, do you mention the name Kine Fell? Knowing that is the crux of Wander's quest, or do you simply discuss Wander's quest for knowledge?
Ooh. I think he would, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm gonna say he does.
Okay.
It might be the wrong decision, but I feel like being truthful at this point is the best thing. Just be like, hey, here's my cards.
Okay. When you do so, you mention that name as the object of your quest. And as you do, he stops his prowling and is now staring intently at you, Wander. And indeed, you actually see him channeling a power, a spell, if you like, within the circle as he stares at you. Do you attempt to use your control of the circle, any of you, to block this power?
Not I.
No.
No.
If you're gonna be evil, now's the time.
His eyes glow with this inner power. You feel it reaching out, piercing the boundary of the magical circle, enshrouding you. And one by one, jumping from each of you before returning to you, Wander, and focusing deeper and deeper within. Eventually, as your story concludes, Uther, the Ursinal is watching you intently. Quill moving at a breakneck pace over page after page of his book. The Leonel, for his part, is standing firmly on the other side of the circle, his back to you. From the mention of Kine Fell on, his gaze does not waver unblinkingly from Wander. As the performance concludes, for most of you, there is apparently no reaction. Wander, with your 25 on insight, you are able to see both of their faces moving in a way that is almost familiar. You are used to kind of the nuances of hidden communication. The way that people's lips move when they're communicating, and their eyes dart when they are communicating either telepathically or in some kind of hidden method. And you see signs of that on both of their faces, back and forth for a few moments. There are moments of frustration, almost, you see, between the two of them, as though there is some kind of disagreement being had. Suddenly, bursting out in Celestial, in audible speech, the Ursinal speaks. He's like, "You see it! You see it just as I do! You know who he is! You know what he is!" Then he suddenly pauses, as though realizing that he'd moved from telepathic to audible communication. But he cannot take it back, his paw outstretched toward you, Wander, though his words were directed at the Leonel. The Leonel scowls at him. But continues the conversation audibly in Celestial. I know better than most. But look who he travels with, mortals! None of whom are loyal to us. All with their own agendas, their own immortal weaknesses. Can they possibly be trusted?
I'll put a foot forward.
I want to fight him.
His eyes swing to you.
And I'll meet his, and to both of them, but while looking at the Leonel, I will. This might sound threatening. I don't mean it threateningly.
Okay.
I will say, "What do you know about me?"
Tell us first. What do you know of Kine Fell? Why do you seek it?
It is important.
Why?
It's all I've sought. I was told to.
By whom?
A voice.
And you obey this voice. You commit yourself to this search. Why? What makes this voice worthy to command you?
And he kind of looks down for a moment and then looks back up. I believe it means to help.
Do you indeed?
Hold to the gaze.
And what would you do with the knowledge if it was granted to you? If you found this kind fell, what would you do next?
Something good.
You see a look of not necessarily surprise, but decision crossing his face. You can still feel his awareness of your own mind, of the truth of your words, of the feelings that power them. It's suffusing you. And with that, he turns to each of you and says, you would follow him on this quest.
Naira is nodding enthusiastically.
You would call yourselves worthy companions, worthy to bear this knowledge, to follow where it leads. Seeing Naira's nod, looking to Lorium and to Uther.
As far as it could.
And you?
Point to note, Naira stopped nodding when you asked that second question.
Which second question?
And you would call yourself worthy?
Worthy. Oh, as if she would not, like, is she having second thoughts? Why would she stop nodding at that point?
I don't know that it's up to me to determine my worthiness, but I am earnest.
An answer that shows more wisdom than it suggests. And what of you, Reaper? Your court compels action, but would you step aside from your course? Follow the path that Pine Fell would lay before you?
I'm ready for this test.
Test. I suppose one could call it that. He looks to the arsenal. There's a few more moments of unseen communication. And then they share a nod. He says, we do know of Kine Fell. And he looks at Wander. He says, And that knowledge should be shared with you, at least. If you others would seek it too, follow. And both of them step back through the portal.
I'm gonna slowly start taking steps towards it.
Doesn't even slow, just walks in. Woo! Woo!
Naira will approach the edge, but she will wait for Uther, hand extended.
He'll then wait for a moment, walk up, take her hand, and go, okay, now I'm ready. And then walk through together.
One by one, you step in. Your awareness of the material realm fades. And each of you, in turn, see something different. Wander. For your part, you feel yourself being pulled. Almost, you feel like yourself being pulled along this connection formed by the portal. But you feel yourself almost being pulled aside from your companions to a slightly different destination. And in it, you find yourself in a place similar to the void with which you are familiar. A place between places. And in that place, you feel the presence of the Leonel and the Ursinal. Their awareness, their watchfulness. And you also become aware of the rest of your companions. The rest of you. With the lucidity and certainty of a dream, you know Uther, Naira, Laurium. The three of you rush into combat. Ahead of you, you know that in this place, the Predator has been seen. You all have been part of the hunt for it, the determination to finally destroy this servant of your enemy that has hounded you for so long. You rush from the trees to survey a scene of chaos and devastation. The large courtyard of the farmstead is littered with the carnage of a combat only recently concluded. Blood still gleams wetly in lurid splashes across gravel and sand, cast from the bodies of fallen warriors that are scattered amongst their broken weapons like discarded toys. The air is thick with the acrid scent of blood, burnt metal, smoke, and charred flesh, and the lingering traces of magical energies. The colors and armor of the bodies that they wear, that the bodies wear, draws your eye in particular, Laurium. Hammer, the weapon that gave him his name, still clutched in a nerveless hand. Wiz, her robes torn, ragged, and soaked a deep red. And Tinks, by the door of the house, their coat torn open, noxious fumes and flames bubbling from puddles around their body, and the building itself ablaze, smoke curling from the windows, spreading even as you watch. And silhouetted against the flames from another building, the steel Predator turns to you. Its massive, imposing, and metallic body is marred by deep gashes and scorch marks. Large portions of its armor are shattered and twisted open, revealing the intricate gears and enchanted runes that power it within. As it turns, there is a pop and a shower of sparks from some broken mechanism within. A shudder runs through it, and you see that it moves only on 3 limbs, the 4th lying shattered and broken amidst the bodies that surround it. Wander, you are aware of all of this scene, but are merely an observer. The 3 of you, immediately, what are your immediate reactions?
Are there any survivors?
Not that you can immediately see.
Perception check out of curiosity?
Okay.
I mean, I'm not great at these. No! Not that I can immediately see, I might be blind.
I lost my glasses through the portal.
Swirling with the smoke, the crackle of flames around you, it's hard to get your bearings, hard to see precisely what is going on. But you are looking around for survivors. Laurium, you, I assume, are immediately empowering yourself with haste. Is that the case?
Yes.
What is your intent?
Without saying a word, if you would give him a full action.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, without saying a word. Fucking, let's see. Oh, perfect.
You're charging the Steel Predator? Okay, don't move yourself just yet.
Absolutely, yeah.
But your power suffuses your body. Your eye locked onto your target. Your hands gripping your weapon. Uther, how about yourself?
Seeing this, he would be doing... Oh, shit. You got this! As he's going to throw that towards Laurium. And his first thought was to check to see if anybody was actually bring upable as he was going to start throwing out some be healed.
Okay. As the Naira and Uther, as the 2 of you prepare for or begin channeling your magic, and Naira, you searching around, Laurium, you begin to rush forward. As you pass in front of the farmstead, the Steel Predator turns with a stuttering, limping, but still swift stride and begins to flee in this direction. You, hot on its heels as you pass in front of the manor, hear a voice cry out. Vincent's, thick with panic and fear from behind the flames. Help! Is anyone still alive out there? We're trapped! Help! Steel Predator, for its part, is limping away, rapidly receding away. What do you do?
He would turn towards the voice. You said it was Vincent's.
Okay. Where are you heading in toward the house?
Is there a window? Or a door?
There are several windows and a door, all of which have flames licking from them. You heard his voice from over here.
Oh, okay, that one. I thought it was this one.
No, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you said as he passed through by, so... Yeah? He wouldn't care about flames.
Okay. You rush toward the house. As you hammer the remnants of the door aside, the flames licking at your flesh. But you are a being of fire yourself, more than at home in the heat of combat, and you barely notice. But you do see from the peripheral of your eye the Steel Predator pausing now that the immediate pursuit is paused. And you see it pause, hunch, its mouth opening, and a strange clicking, grinding noise emerging. Though adulterated by the damage, you do recognize it as the air around it begins to twist and curl. This is the power that it had used many times in the past to evade direct confrontation with your platoon. But the damage seems to be slowing it. The coalescing power is taking longer than you recall to gather and whisk the creature away back to its master, but is gathering nonetheless. Do you maintain your pursuit of Vincent?
Yes.
You move through the house, hammering doors open as you go, hearing his voice from within. Help! We're trapped! Is anyone there?
Go ahead, Naira.
Well, I wasn't sure if we were acting right now. Uther and I are just sort of standing here.
You may.
Uther would run baseball slide to check. Come on, these guys over here.
Okay.
Should I help you or Lorium?
Lock down that damn thing. I can get these people up if it's possible. Let me know if that guy's alive real quick as you rush in.
Okay. I'm gonna throw a fire shield on.
Okay.
And get resistance to fire damage, obviously.
Okay.
As I pass, does this guy look like we can either spare the dying or get him up?
Spare the dying, potentially. But certainly... Well, actually, no. It would be more a case of gentle repose rather than spare the dying.
And so what Uther's gonna do, which this'll burn it if he's dead, but if not, then he'll be up. So I'm gonna throw it one of these right here down at Leon. So if he isn't dead, then he takes 7, and if he is dead, then nothing happens. And then I'm gonna run up and check Barco with my action and try and stabilize him if he is alive. A medicine check.
Okay. Unfortunately, both have wounds rent open on their bodies, far beyond the assistance of the magics at your disposal.
He would relieve that through the headpiece. Damn, they're down. Hard. Focus on the steel predator.
Lorium, for your part, you smash through the house, finding Vincent in a room choked with smoke and flame, clutching a wound in his side. What do?
Action. Just so you're aware of intent, the moment this scene played out, his single intent was kill, and then the moment the voice came out, hope. For but a moment. I'm trying to find it. Lay on hands.
While you're doing this, Naira's gonna ask if she can help you or if you'd rather her go deal with that steel predator.
Kill it. And he would use his hasted action to use an item, magical item, and yeah, do this. Goodbye. Grabbing Vincent.
Okay, where do you want to appear?
Outside of the house and away around the corner.
Boop. Okay.
There was no one else in that room, right?
Nope.
Correct. As You pour the healing energy into his body and are enshrined in the, surrounded by the effect of your cloak, whipping you both from danger and to the exterior. The steel outside, Uther and you, Naira, as you emerge in their wake, see the steel predator finish gathering its power. And
I'm a counter spell.
as you begin to cast your power out, however, the scene fades away. Where is it? Wander, from your place in the void, you feel the curiosity of the Ursinal and the Leonel turning toward you. Do you say anything initially?
You'll say, what is this?
You travel with these mortals. They make choices from their narrow perspective. Do you think them wise?
I travel with my family. I trust them as they trust me. They have always done well, yet meant so much more.
You feel the focus, the attention focus in on Laurium. You see him kneeling over Vincent's body as they appear outside the house, his power flowing in to heal his wounds. His quarry escaped. It slew his friends. It will go on to slay more. Do you think he did well?
He chose. That is the best I can ask.
What if he were to choose evil?
He won't.
What makes you so certain?
I have been wrong. I know this. I know how it feels. I am not wrong now.
There's a sensation of movement, changing. Naira, Uther, Lorien.
I
The
recognize
creak
it.
of old floorboards and the scent of candle wax greet you as you find yourself standing in a familiar manner. Sulfian House, home of Sir Bellavere. Above your head, an ornate chandelier casts deep shadows into the vaults of the tall ceiling. On the walls about you, tapestries and trophies of every sort fill the space. Gregarious furnishings, gold leaf glittering everywhere, can be seen through the doors about you, every proportion oversized, every proportion intended to present grandeur. Drawn back to this place by the machinations of the fivefold truth, you are presented with a choice. You know that those machinations are upon the brink of fruition. In less than a week, their dark end, the master they serve, the power they seek to unleash, all will be realized, unless you, the lions, can find the heart of their power and prevent it. The location of that heart, the key to it, along with revelations about all else that they intend, lay within the mind of the man before you. Bartram, strapped into Sir Belavere's mind-bending device. You have mastered its use. You know that you can pluck the memories you need from him like components from an arcane pouch, ingredients of a spell that will bring you victory. But between you and they, a layer of enchantment upon his mind, an enchantment with roots in his very soul. He shall not, cannot, betray that knowledge, either willingly or no. But with your mastery, with your power, you could take it from him nonetheless, and in so doing, obliterate his mind and pull the very core from his soul. He will be sent into eternity as a shade, a shell, condemned to an existence as little more than a spark of soul energy. The being it once represented, ripped from it and cast asunder. He sits before you, unconscious in the chair. All three of you looking at him, knowing that this knowledge is available, and what the price will be.
What happens if we don't get this knowledge?
Catastrophe. The realization of the truth, of the plans of the fivefold truth. A war that will bring an end to the Harashan coast, as it brought an end to the Calaron Empire before it, and the Haraktan Empire before that. A war that will cover the coast in fire and blood.
And just so I understand, basically what you described was not just like mortal torture, but it was just permanent like I'm denying the final judgment even.
Essentially, yes. Bartrand as a person, as a soul, would essentially still remain. Bartrand as a person would remain, but the core of his soul, that which made him a person, would be ripped from him. He would basically just be a mote of empty personality, forever denied.
Lobotomy.
Essentially, yes. That would be a good way of putting it.
That's literally disgusting. Okay. So we are facing either committing one of the more vile acts I've ever found out a person could do, or unleashing a catastrophe that kills thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people. Destroys everything. What do I do? What do we do?
Uther frowns as he sits there staring at him, as he says, on one hand, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, and shades are something that can happen to those who make deals with devils, which he all very much has done, putting us in an unfortunate and unwinnable situation. On the other hand, I'm quite against this destruction of outright of that inner being and soul, all of it. I'm not exactly sure.
I'd say do it. He sat at his dinner table, now he has to eat from it.
But I'm the only one who can.
So it's your call. My perspective is flawed since I don't have the same dealings with souls as you two do. I'd rather damn one who would damn 1,000.
Yes, and if the absolute are to get control, what is left of the souls?
Hold on a second.
She modifies memory. Now no one gets it. Ha!
Don't stop reading my mind.
She casts fog cloud, and now no one can see what she
I'm
does.
literally reading my modify memory right now. I have an idea.
You think you need to upcast it, buddy? I also, in our last second session, fucking casted modify memory.
You don't brainwash some poor museum curator.
No.
Unless you can affect a target's memory of an event that it experienced within the last 24 hours in the last no more than 10 minutes.
What you know of the enchantment and the understanding you have gleaned from your examinations to date, he cannot give up these secrets, whether he is willing or no. Even if he believed you were his closest allies, he would not be able to give you the information you desire willingly.
What if my only question was basically, where do they intend to meet? And on what day precisely?
It's all part of the enchantment.
Damn.
Oh, the music turned off for me. Huh.
Oh, there should be music going.
Yeah, I see it's countdown.
I still hear it.
Oh. Yeah, it's just me and loading then.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
Uther, how many times you faced impossible odds?
I mean, I kind of make the impossible possible. But that's just my feeling about myself, you know.
There is no guarantee that they will succeed. Even if we don't have this knowledge, we're still here and we're still coming. I don't get beaten. And then I'm just going to inflict wounds on him and kill him. Actually, question, does he have any poison on him?
Yes, he absolutely does. This is Bartrand. You know he is never without his stash of illicit substances.
I find the poison.
The long goodbye.
Much cocaine.
You've always
So-
deserved this fate.
What do you do?
I stick it in his mouth and kill him.
But allow his soul to pass.
His body convulses, strapped to the chair. His eyes flash open as he gains a moment of awakening as the pain shoots through him, racking his form. Black foam bubbles from his mouth, his nostrils, and black tears begin to run from his eyes. And after a few more moments, Bartrand is no more. The scene fades.
Sorry.
Oops, sorry, go on.
She was just saying, I'm sorry, Lorium.
I cast Revivify on him.
There is no effect.
Damn.
Right? The long goodbye prevents that.
No.
long goodbye. The scene fades. Wander. You feel the presence of the Ursinal, the Leonal, turn to you once more. They would sacrifice all. They would risk the destruction of thousands, the deaths of hundreds of thousands, because they are not willing to pay the price.
Is that the extension for me to say something, or is there more?
He seems to be just waiting to see if you have any reaction to that.
He's quiet for a short time, maybe just a few seconds pass, but they fucking feel like forever. And he says, "In my time, I have sought the right answer. I do not believe there is one. Not one they should be expected to see."
Then what should they be expecting?
To do as they believe is right. It is not their place to render a supreme verdict, but it is not yours to judge as though they should.
Is it not indeed? Why?
They are there. Are not.
You have faith in their judgments? You seek power beyond mortal ken, or you seek knowledge beyond mortal ken, and with it comes power, as knowledge always gives. You would trust such power in their hands? They who are afraid to stain their souls if it means that they may save a world.
Choices have been given to them, and they've earned great power. That they use their strength to save others speaks more than I can.
Interesting. You say it is not ours to render judgment. Let us see, perhaps, what faith you have in their judgment. The world shifts and changes. Uther, you are the only one who recognizes this place from your own memories. But Naira and Laurium, you both have an innate understanding of where you are. An inner chamber of the court of Carvalin. One of the most jealously guarded in all creation. Every inch of its stone walls is adorned with intricate carvings, depicting the duties and history of the court. Each fresco representing a lifetime of dedication by a craftsman at the pinnacle of his art. Beneath the glimmer of the ever-burning lanterns above the room, or of the ever-burning lanterns above, the room seems shadowed by the weight of centuries. The decisions that have been made in this room echoing across the prime material and beyond. The most esteemed nobles of the court sit in session, and for almost the first time in a memory that stretches far beyond the living, non-council members are in attendance. The lions of the Harashan coast, and you, Uther, granted a seat among the council. Clad in finery befitting their status in the court, the nobles watch each other and you all with a careful, measuring gaze that speaks of not only survival, but ascension through years beyond counting. Each braid in their elaborate robes, each loop of finely embroidered silver and gold thread, each piece of glittering jewelry bears a weight of meaning to those who know it. The high ceiling of the room deadens the rustle of fabric, the clink of jewelry and armor as the council members take their seats, all with grave faces, as they look down through the lattice of metal and crystal that spans the center of the room, giving a view of the infinite void between realms, a view of the bridge that spans from the material realm to eternity. As you all sit, taking in the view, the bridge shudders, and a sense of creeping wrongness can be felt by all of you. This one, this noble, looks up at you, his eyes moving across all three before settling on you, Uther. Uther Lionsbane, by the grace of the court, kin of Deadstone, knight of the Black Scepter, protector of the Frostborn, hand of the Scale, shield of the Bridge, vanguard of Black Iron, arbiter of Silver, ebon captain, risen fallen, prince of Emberlight and the Whispering, and reaper of Carvalin. You are recognized and welcome within the Mortalitatio. You have been gone from the court for a long time, pursuing that which was stealing the energy of the souls, pursuing that which cut at the very foundations of our kingdom. But despite whatever success you may have found in the mortal realm, despite all the enemies that you have felled, all the trouble that you have quelled, you are summoned back to a time of dire need. Celeborn Lionsbane, who sits upon the throne, is unable to fulfill his duty. He has been weakened. The losses, the drain of the souls. His divine spark holds the bridge, supports this court, holds us all here. But he can no longer render his judgments. Does anybody react at all?
Uther's just like sits back, eyes wide, like trying to be like, oh, this is totally normal. They're inspecting gazes, catch nothing of me being like, holy shit.
There was an audible record scratch when you said Celeborn Lionsbane on Naira's side of the table.
Loim's just internally like, yeah, this checks out.
I will put my hand on Uther's shoulder. That connection.
Okay.
Is there
Nope.
nothing we can possibly do to stabilize him, to help him?
The greatest scholars of the court have devoted their minds to little else, and so far found naught. While the bridge is open, and the planes are still able to claim their own, the path held open by his divine spark, the judge is unable to render judgment. Those in need of guidance, those for whom decisions must be made, languish, lost, unable to pass through the court. And every moment, their numbers grow. Every moment, they wander farther and farther. It is only a matter of time before some are lost forever. Without a judge, without someone, without a will to guide them. Those for whom the destination is not clear will find none. But There is a reason you are summoned to this council. His blood runs in your veins. You could ascend the throne. Uther could sit on in the seat of judgment upon the bridge. The Lion's Bane throne shall continue. The court of Carvalen shall continue. If you are willing. There. And at this point, his eyes slide across to you, Naira. There would, though, be a cost. Our king clad her soul to yours. But she will still. And you would become more than that. Her soul could bear no connection to yours. Not without cracking the very foundations of the court. And so, the path is laid before you, if you choose it.
He would take a moment, look up to Naira, as he would say, I love you more than I've ever loved anything ever. And this is a terrible burden that I do not truly wish to bear. But I do not see any other way.
You once called me your flower. And I'll be your forget-me-not.
I could never forget you. As he would just turn, stand up, kiss Naira deeply. As he would just look into her eyes and give her a smile. I'll still be here, you know. I'll be waiting.
We didn't get enough time.
No. With you, darling, I feel like I could have had forever, and it wouldn't have been long enough. So, live well. Mors omnia vincit. I will see you again, my love. As he would just
Go on.
turn, walk over, say nothing, hug Glorium, and then step to the center and say, let it be done.
The decision made. The world fades. Wander. You feel the Leonel, the Ursinal, turning to face you. A mortal who thinks he can aspire to godhood. Who thinks he has the wisdom to sit in the seat of judgment. Do you think him worthy?
I do.
That is your judgment, is it?
Should a god begin to falter, and a mortal be willing to help? And he kind of trails off for a moment before going, and able to do so, should they not? And then he waits for just a second before kind of putting a questioning emphasis on have they not?
And this mortal, he gestures to Uther. You feel the focus on him, the unfolding awareness of, and the impression of Uther as a performer, as this kind of rapscallion-esque just person who dances through life. You would bet, you would wager the souls of all who must cross the bridge on his judgment, on his discernment. You would place him on that throne. That is your judgment.
He nods very slightly, and then he says, and should he ever falter, I will be there, as I have been.
Would you indeed? Or will you indeed?
Anything for them.
The world fades. The void fades. And seeping back in, moving back into the awareness of you all, you are once more upon the celestial bridge.
But do we have any memory of any of those moments?
The memories of everything you just experienced, the decisions you made, remain with you.
Uther jumps on Naira. Oh my god!
Not
Oh,
in
that was the
public.
worst thing ever.
They're just like, oh my god, I didn't think you'd remember. I'm sorry.
And she's like, "Can we just put a can we just put a little pin in the Kellenborn Lion's Mane conversation? I have some questions."
He just scratches his face as he says, there were some family rumors. He's lived a really long time, so it's not like he just shrugs.
And she clasps her hands around your face and she goes, "It's fine, sweetie. It's fine." And then she will give you a nice little kiss.
Wait, what did I even mean about the unraveling? He's talking about.
Who are you
no,
saying that to? Or-
he's asking like Uther and Naira, like essentially. Wait, so what did that mean? And for Naira, like, what did that do?
Well, I cannot exist without Uther's soul. If that ever had to happen, I would face my final judgment.
Which would have been me, winks at her, gives her finger guns. If there's any way you're getting picked up in a private carriage, it's that day.
Oh, so I need to fix things. Just had to fix a couple of things with those tokens. Okay.
But I didn't want it. And I don't. I'd rather have you. Let's see. Smiles. I did mean that.
She smiles and puts her hand over her heart. And she goes, "I know, I could feel it. I've always known."
Plus, I definitely got some older cousins or sisters or whatever. There's definitely other people closer in line, I think.
Nara starts talking some fucking mad scientist shit. She's like, we could clone you, and then like we could just send him to go do the things.
No, honestly, Naira's already gone. So if I give him an heir, then I get a new heir, yes?
Well, we've got options, is all I'm saying.
I'm just saying. A little tobacco self.
Give me a year. I'll be right back. What's a year to a god?
What's a year to a god?
Elf Baxi.
There you go.
The Leonel and the Ursinal regard each of you in turn, and then both turn their faces to Wander. Say, "You are certain, then, these are your chosen companions? You judge them worthy. You judge yourself worthy to glean knowledge sequestered by the Celestials themselves."
I do.
There's another moment of unheard communication. Of unheard communication between the Leonel and the Ursinal. And then the Leonel nods and says, "Then share their knowledge. I will put my trust in you, my friend." Places a hand on his shoulder and steps back through the portal and fades from sight. And the Arsenal kind of takes a moment, makes a final note in the book, closes it, and says, "Well then, with that out of the way, I suppose all that is left for you to ask your questions. So, Wanda, You who judge these worthy, you who judge yourself worthy, you who wanders in search of an answer. What is your question?
Where is kind Fel?
How would you answer that? That's not actually the question I was expecting you to ask.
Yeah, I know what you were expecting, but I was like, well, that doesn't matter. I just want you just want to know where it's at. You had what queued up and ready to go. You weren't ready for where.
Basically, yeah.
Got him.
They actually kind of pause for a long moment, as if considering your question, and say, where? The most precise answer I can give you at this time is that they are missing. They do not stand in their appointed place. Where there should be certainty, where there should be a pillar, there is only void.
They?
Iron fell. What do you know of them? What do you know of what you see?
No more than I've shared.
A name only, then.
He nods.
He gestures, and above the portal, shimmering into existence, a strange sight appears, almost like a tesseract. Realms within realms within realms within realms, all of them turning in and about each other in almost perfect unison. Naira, you would certainly recognize this, but anyone else who wishes to can make a knowledge arcana check.
I got this. I don't got this.
And he says, "Behold, the great wheel. That which encompasses all of creation, from the highest heaven and a point in the wheel, shines with this beaming, radiant light that washes over you all to the lowest hell. And this feeling of trepidation and darkness creeps over each of you as another point glimmers in opposition to the first. It is the mechanism that contains and powers our universe. All that there is, all that will ever be as we understand it, is within its spokes. And those spokes are the very pillars of reality. The fabric that makes up all that we know and all that we ever shall. The very fundamental aspects of our world of our souls are underpinned in its structure. As he speaks, one moment here. I just want to make sure that I have. Sorry, my notes. I decided to go walkies. 1 second, sorry.
Oh, good.
Yeah, okay. Here we go. As he speaks, spokes appear within the wheel, within the structure, like thoroughfares that, or indeed, as he discussed them, structural pillars that define the structure. I'm overusing these words of the wheel as a whole. 24 of them in total, or more accurately, 23, and a space where one should be. Who among you knows what a solar is?
Naira's hand shoots up.
Like, dude scratches his hand slowly goes up. I think you told me about. Yes.
I was like, I believe at this point I know.
She's like beaming at you guys with pride. You did
My hand does not go up. My hand does not go up.
He actually looks at you, Nairo, and even on the face of a bear, the look of kind of amused curiosity is unmistakable. As he just kind of is like,
Is he waiting for me to answer?
basically, yeah, he seems to be just like, well, go on.
They are powerful celestial beings. Usually in the service of a god.
In a way, it is true that they serve the gods, but it is more precise, if you wish, to say that they serve us all. If you were to grind the universe to the finest powder and separate it out into its elements, the solars would be the elements that create our souls, our morality. At least, the good of it. Justice, mercy, devotion. These are the structures that the solars provide. Kind fell. Judgment. At least, they did. Where they once stood, where judgment, the spirit of it, the certainty of it, could once be relied upon. Now there is void. So, when you ask me where is Kine Fell, the most that I can respond is not in his appointed or their appointed place. Does that satisfy your question?
Hey, how long have they been gone?
Not long, fortunately. Too long, and the foundations of the world, the structure of the wheel itself, would suffer. Indeed, their absence is of some concern to my colleagues and I, as you can well imagine. But that you seek him in this way, that you have been placed upon this path, these voices, you are a... Yes. He's looking at you, Wander, as he speaks. You are a divine being of some sort. It is hard to pass precisely, but you have come here, you have searched for him for a reason. Do you know the voices who placed you upon this path?
Not for sure.
Not for sure, but you suspect. Yes?
I gotta give me a thing just real quick.
Okay.
Naira is practically bursting with the need to ask a question. Like, Uther, you are so proud of her restraint.
You can feel it.
It's just
Restraint? Lorian wanted to fight the fucking Leonel the whole time. He
That guy's big and tall.
He would totally have felt that. Big divine lion man. You and me in a ring. Let's
It's
go.
like, fuck yeah, let's go! Okay.
Like,
Actually, we are going to get clawed for a moment.
Ah!
Pull!
Claw! My... No, my friendo. Ah, damn.
so is Kindfell like
A person?
Wander's realm?
Kindfell
Feels like-
is Wander.
Yeah.
They disappeared. I was about to be like, when? Approximately 9 months ago. It's like, oh, it's Wander, you fucking bastard. Because of the collective minds and beings within Wander. The ones that fight, that argue, that judge.
Mm-hmm. Look at his adorable little bare face in the robe.
I want to grapple it.
He's so cute. It's unbearable.
I saw the eyes. At first, the eyes are looking straight, but at first I thought it was like looking up to the top right. So he looked high as fuck in the picture.
Oh my god, I thought they were looking top right too.
Yeah, no, they're looking straight. It's like, man, that bear is vibing.
The claw.
The claw!
We return.
Welcome back.
Hello. He'll seem kind of contemplative for a moment, and then he'll say, "You say 23 of them?"
Eh? You think it was they?
I heard many voices, and still do.
But they don't speak to... They would never. Nothing. And he actually, they actually open their book and seem to be, leafing back through pages. But it would be unprecedented. Never. Well, never has one denied the summons. It could be. Closes the book again and folds it. Seems to be almost kind of nervous as he's now looking at Wander. If it was their voices speaking to you, then that would mean that you had some connection, some thread to Kind Fell. No new has ascended to take their place, so they are not destroyed. They do not answer the summons, so they are not clear. They are not free, but no one could contain them without... Unless... He turns and gestures, and the portal shreds and disappears. There we go, disappears. And then he turns to you, Wander, and says, "We shall attempt another summoning. If this circle is attuned to you, will you call to Kind Fell?"
He kind of leans back a little, as though kind of slightly taken aback, and then regaining his composure, he'll go almost like a slight emphatic nod and go, "I will try."
Then let it be done. I will assist. Please stand in the center. You. Come here. I will need your assistance. And he points to you, Naira.
Oh, good, because Naira was just absolutely what am I gonna do? Because she wants to say, I'm sorry. Is there any risk to Wander?
Risk? I do not know. What we are attempting to do is unprecedented. unheard of, even in the annals of the House of Knowledge. But for a solar to be simply missing is also unheard of. If one falls, another ascends from among the ranks of the Celestials, a planetar, though one most worthy to embody the solar, will step into the position, will become the pillar. But that has not happened. No judge stands. And so, if the other solars spoke to him, chose him to seek Kain Fel, it must be for a reason. There must be a connection. We could find the answer here today. If they chose him, then it must be for a reason.
Wander, knowing that there may be a risk and we don't know how big it is. Do you want me to help?
We have not been sent here to cause harm. I do not know what will happen. Be it good or bad. Won't you stand with me?
And she smiles and she says, "There's no doubt of that. I just wanted to make sure that this is what you wanted."
He nods.
And then she turns to the adorable teddy bear, and she and she says, "What can I do?"
It's like an adult buff Paddington.
And the Arsenal rattles off a set of instructions, basically walking you through a minor realignment of the circle. He says, I shall endeavor to realign the runes within the circle's confines, but if you could, on the outer attunement circles, there and there, they will need to be pointed toward True Celestial. That one, toward the Feywild. And basically walks you through the Erd and El runes there will need to be reactivated. Pandran on that one, and 4th and the 7th circles on that one.
And Naira's just speeding around the room like a sloth.
As he quickly moves about within the large circle itself, you all see him tapping runes, some lighting at his touch, others dimming. The energy, vibration in the air subtly changes as more and more of these preparations are complete. And after a few moments of he kind of nods to you, Naira, and says, good, I believe we are ready to try. He moves his hands in gathering arcane power. So go on.
Can I just say one thing to Wander?
Of course.
You matter so much to me, Wander. I just want you to know that.
I always have. And you're not quite sure whether he means whether he's always known or he's always.
I was also interpreting that as a question.
Yeah, hard to read the stone face.
The bear gathers arcane power. Says, Maestra, lend me your mastery of the weave. Let me solve this mystery and bring knowledge to our house. There is a outpouring of magical energy from him. The runes that glowed dimly flare into life. And he looks at you, Wander, and says, Call.
And then I try to reach out and grasp at something. I hold my holy symbol, kind of just hand in my chest, and try to reach out and manifest anything.
What specifically are you trying to manifest?
What I envision Kindfell to be. A solar named Kindfell.
You reach into yourself to the certainty that has guided you. The drive, the imperative to seek and to find this Kindfell, the objective that has so long driven you. And you reach for it and call out to it. Kindfell. The name rolls out from the magic circle, spearing through the runes that guide it beyond the material plane and out through the great wheel. For a moment, the power hangs suspended in the air. And then slowly, very slowly, begins to coalesce. Phosphorescent wisps of light materialize, coalescing into a luminous spirit that floats ethereally in the air above the circle. The figure, a being of porcelain perfection, unearthly in its grace, regards you all with a kindly smile. As its eyes pass over you, a wash of relief from guilt and burdens of the soul fills you for a moment. Then, the crash of a gavel upon the bench rings through the cavern as a being appears. A face of impassive implacability regards you. A featureless visage that nonetheless projects an unmistakable gaze. You feel it, all of you, at once, bore into you and strip you of all pretense or simulation. It seems to press against you as though weighing something deep within before sweeping onward. Then, there's a crack, a snarl of elemental rage that rolls out from the circle, igniting within you every hatred, every feeling of injustice, every half-remembered slight and moment of wrath you have ever experienced. And for a moment, a brief moment, all of your heart pumped pure rage at the imperfection of the world. a being appears, veins of fire running across its face, while a golem face set in a perpetual snarl stares out at you. One by one, more beings appear. Chaotic in some cases, implacable in others, perfect in others. Each of them seems to spark a moment of raw emotion in your soul, as though connecting to a different part of your being. As the power of Wander's call rolls back in from the farthest corners of the Great Wheel. And these beings are summoned. Is anyone going to react?
I'm gonna look at the space bear. You said it was one guy, not like a dozen.
The Ursonal is actually staring around him in shock and apparent incomprehension, as though they also do not understand what they are seeing.
Religion check?
Go ahead.
I assume. And I'm going to use that second advantage.
Okay.
Religion check.
Ooh, 28. And the 28, Naira, you know, beings as vast as solars are not as simple as mortal souls. One way to put it would be that a being of such immensity contains multitudes. Every aspect of their being is an elemental, fundamental part of the universe. And given what you have experienced with the elemental aspects of these creatures, or these beings as they have appeared, you believe that they are all, at least in part, Kind Fel.
Naira will just say, "You did it, Wander."
The Ursonal looks up at your words and seems to have a moment of understanding. You see him focus, and that same power of thought detection and that same expanded awareness rolls off of him for a moment, and his jaw drops open. He looks from Naira to the beings, and back to Naira, and then back to Wander, and says, She's right. And he's looking at you, Wander. He says, they are all Kind Fel. You are all Kind Fel.
Then I'm gonna look around at all of them, and then just getting the most of them in the view of my one eye as I possibly can. I'm just gonna go, hello.
Brothers. Sisters.
Brother.
And that, I think, is a fairly ideal place for us to pause tonight's session.
Woo, Space Bears!
Space Bears!
Did
Some
not,
revelations, too!
Wander is humanity.
Wander's evil.
True.
Wander's hatred.
Just for my own ego, just to confirm, Naira figured this out before the Space Bear.
Yes, you did very good.
Maybe
Gold star.
Kindfell
Piss.
was Kindfell was the friends we made along the way.
It really was. The journey is over. Wander can retire.
I love the art you got for all of them, and then it matches so well with Wander's art of just Wander.
Thank you.
When I look at the Wrath one, all I can see is, I think it's Asura from Asura's Wrath.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Is it Asura? Yeah, no, it's Asura's Wrath. Yeah, that's yeah. It looks dope as fuck.
That's
all
almost what
look-
you became when you used your spell.
No, I was hotter.
In all senses.
But yes, so revelations aplenty about a couple of different members of the team in this session, and more to come as the group will be able to hopefully commune with the multitude of Kindfell on the next exciting episode of Land of Sundered Crowns!
Yay!
True.
And just to clarify, they're like here, right? Like they're not just gonna go back. They're like here.
What do you mean?
The fucking
They're on the material plane.
people. These guys.
Oh yeah, no, they are
Yeah,
here. Like there are physical presences within these magical circles.
cool.
I'm just saying, this would be the hardest fight ever, and probably suicidal. Let's go. I'm kidding.
Well, Cole, you see that Wrath right there? I'm sure that Wrath guy's got a lot to say to you.
Fucking hell. But I'm gonna turn off the stream and say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.